Welcome to From Dark to Light. I'm your host, Julie Crawford, and this is the podcast where we honor stories of resilience, where people who have walked through unimaginable darkness share how they found their way to the light. Today's guest is Consolee Nishimwe. Consolee is a survivor of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. In those 100 days of violence, she was on the run. She lost most of her family members, including her father and 3 little brothers, along with her home. She endured brutal attacks, including sexual violence that left her with lifelong wounds and an HIV diagnosis. And yet, Consolee's life today is not defined by hatred or bitterness. Instead, she has chosen forgiveness, healing, and hope. She is now an author, a speaker, and an advocate for survivors around the world. Her story is a powerful reminder of the human spirit's capacity to endure and rise from devastation. I invite you to listen with an open heart as Consolee takes us from her life in Rwanda before the genocide, through the unimaginable darkness of those 100 days, and into the light she has found in her life today. Well, today's guest is an amazing woman who's been through so much stuff that you will not even believe it. And her name is Consolee Nishimwe. And I cannot wait for you to hear her story because I know that she's going to inspire everyone who listens. So let's get started. Consolee, thank you so much for being here. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself right now and where you're at and what you have going on?
Oh, thank you so much, Julie, for inviting me here. I'm truly honored for, being on your space. My name, as you said, Consolee. I'm based in New York City. I'm currently living in New York City. I'm an author and also a speaker. And I pretty much, that's, what I do. I educate about, what happened through my story. And I feel like it's important for me to, through storytelling, to educate the world of what happened. And I feel like all of us, we can learn from each other through stories. So that's who I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're also a big advocate for women's rights, and you're constantly involved with nonprofits to help educate women and other people about women's rights as well, which I think is
Probably.
pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
So we'll start with your childhood. You read a book you wrote a book, I read it, and I was blown away in the first few chapters. I reached out to you because I was like, oh my gosh, talk about resilience. And I cried through this book too, because I just couldn't even imagine going through something like that. But can you take us back to what life was like in Rwanda back in 1993, 94, when you were growing up? What was life like for you?
Oh, thank you. And I really, really appreciate for, reading my story. It really means a lot. When you reach out to me, really, I felt so happy, and to hear your words, your kind words really meant a lot. So, as you read the book, I was born in Rwanda. I'm not a city girl. Even though I live in New York City, I'm a village girl, small town. But I was very fortunate that I was born in a place where, in a family that loved me. And my parents were teachers. My 4 siblings were 5 kids in our household. And I was very fortunate to have a big family. Many of our family members, grandparents, cousins, uncles, many of them were not living far from each other. So, and I would say that I was very fortunate to be born in a loving family. It's a blessing, really. I really, really don't take that for granted for that period of time before the genocide to have that. That's the reason why I shared that part of my life before genocide, even though the genocide happened when I was still young, 14 years old, but I was very happy to experience life before with a big family. So that loved me, that cared for me. So, and also to show that, it's important to also appreciate even a small time you've had, with your family, even though maybe there's someone out there who don't even have a family, because of many reasons. You lost your family, but and I was very happy in my family. My parents were teachers.
Hmm.
And before the genocide, I was 14 years old. In 1994, I was young, 14 years old. And I grew up in a home where my parents loved each other and they cared one another. And as a children, we also felt it. They really cared for us. And I was the oldest in my family. I remember, as a firstborn, I really probably I enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
Times my parents, when they had me, I feel like I was, very blessed to also experience those moments in the first time before my other siblings came.
Hmm.
I felt loved, really. I felt loved and cherished and also alongside when my siblings came and we loved each other. We did things together
Yeah.
and and I also went to see my family members, visiting my family members, my uncles and my cousins. We spend more time together. I went to school, elementary school with where my parents used to teach. And we really, enjoyed each other. I was a kid who was always around my parents. So,
Yeah.
and
In your book, it's
yeah,
really evident of how much love there was in your household.
yeah.
And one of the things that I noticed from the beginning is your name. I was like, wow, how interesting that your name, because I was thinking console, like you are a very soothing, consoling person. And then for your name to represent that, and then for what you've gone through to go on and continue to console other people. I just felt like that was really profound,
So that's so kind of you to say
really
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
What
Hmm.
what are some of your fondest memories with your family as a child before the genocide?
Um, some of the things I really, really cherish the most is spending time with my parents.
Hmm.
I remember when I used to walk with, especially as a daddy's girl, I was daddy's girl,
Yeah.
walking with going to school with my father. It really, really, I enjoyed that. There are
Hmm.
things not so many things I shared in the book, but there are so many, many things we did together. But I
Hmm.
wanted to, because I didn't want the book to be too big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully, when I write another one, I can probably share more of that.
Hmm.
So I really enjoyed going to school. I remember those memories going to school with my father, and as a girl, spending time with your father is important. So
Yeah.
really, my dad to talk to me my dad was a sweet man and
Mm.
very kind and generous to everybody around him, not only for anything he would give, just his heart, who he was as a person. And and for me as a kid, I really, really enjoyed being around my father and my mom. Both of them, they really knew how to love each other.
Yeah.
And also, and doing things together with my dad and mom, doing
Hmm.
things together and my siblings. And also, moments when I went to visit my uncle, my cousins, spending time
Hmm.
with my cousins, my grandparents. Those moments were really, I cherish those moments every day of my life because, yeah,
Isn't it interesting how just it's the simple moments.
yeah,
It's the just spending quality time together, listening to stories or playing with relatives. Those are
mhm,
the moments you cherish the most and
yeah.
you can't get back, and but those you hold dear, which is really amazing. Um, before the genocide began, um,
Mhm,
I know in the book you mentioned that for the most part, everybody was getting along. The Hutu and the Tutsis, you guys were just living in the same neighborhoods and in the same village and all of that. And then there was a switch. Can you tell us about kind of how it gradually happened? Because
mhm,
it didn't happen overnight in a
yeah.
sense, but then
Mhm.
it did. And then what followed was 100 days of hell,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
You
over
know,
800,000 people lost their lives, which
yeah.
is gives me goosebumps and just it's heartbreaking. Can you, if it's okay, can you share what it was like when you started to hear things, and then actually when it all started?
Right. Um, as you can see, because I was young, of course, I share through the perspective of the 14-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
I, I grew up in a country where, especially in our culture, people love to be around each other. We are very storytelling, oral storytelling, culture. People love to see each other, visit each other, go to church together, spend time together, and we have so many beautiful things in our culture. So, and for me, when I was growing up, I thought because of those values we had, I thought maybe that's what everybody, was doing in their household. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're being taught. So that's why the genocide was very shocking for me, because we went to school. My parents used to teach their children, and most of them used to come to our home. I saw my grandparents really getting along with their neighbors, and I saw all of us doing things together. So,
Yeah.
playing with their kids whenever I went to school and doing things together. And, but of course, we lived in a country where at that time, being a Tutsi, was not easy because they were being persecuted. So many years even before I was born. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it grew slowly. So because of the dehumanization, the discrimination that we faced throughout the years. And even my parents went through a lot at work, but they never shared that with me because they wanted me to have a childhood. They wanted me and my siblings to have a normal childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was, as you read in the book, when I was starting to go to school, that's when I realized I was, things I started to experience some of the things.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents managed to give me, make sure that I felt loved and cherished. And gradually in 90s, especially 1993, close to 1994, that's when things got worse. That's when, of course, the RTLM radio, that was, inciting the hatred. And many ways, your media. So usually it was the radio because that's the only way people can hear, things. So, and that's when everything started to change a lot. So you can feel, the change. You can see things changing a lot. But I never imagined in my life that it was going to be a genocide. So never thought in a million years it was going to be a genocide. So
Yeah.
I thought maybe it's, things happening like that, but it would never turn into a genocide. But it was shocking to see a genocide and to see how well the propaganda of hatred spread out easily, and to a point where the people that I thought were loved me
Mm-hmm.
as a kid, or the people that I could run to usually you say, I think you have a saying everywhere in the world, a kid is raised by a village.
Yes.
Raised by,
Yeah.
if I used to, I would be corrected by a neighbor or somebody if I do something, but, and even to the trust I had as a kid for everybody around me, and somehow it was shocking. It was really like, not easy to comprehend how things
But
change completely. Yeah.
wouldn't you say that
Hmm.
your ability to trust everybody also had a huge, I mean, the reason was because your parents
Yeah.
really believed you treat everyone
Hmm.
great, and you respect everyone, and so you probably, because you were taught that,
Hmm.
you did.
Yeah.
And it shows. I know your faith, which you
Hmm.
haven't discussed yet much, but
Hmm.
your faith is really what helped you guys
Yeah.
get through these times. But we'll continue to back up. But yeah, your parents, just, it sounds like they just insulated you
Yeah.
from all of the hatred with all
Hmm.
their love, you
Yeah.
know.
Hmm.
um so when was the actual, if you can tell us, like, the turning point where you guys actually started to you had to leave your home and go into hiding?
Hmm. Yeah. The time when, of course, right, when after the plane of the former president shut down, and immediately throughout the country, of course, they used it as a way of saying that, Tutsis murdered him, which is not true,
Mm-hmm.
because a genocide is something that that's a well planned. You can't just, you know, and throughout the country immediately they started murdering Tutsis. So, and where we lived in our village in the Western Province in Kibuye, I'm sure you remember the Kibuye, in a small place they remain. Yeah. So where we lived in our village, like everybody else, we heard what happened, but there were so many people at that time who were fleeing from their home, their villages in the hills, and coming to local office, the authority mayor's office. And even though things were really chaotic and changing throughout the country, here, some, people being murdered in the capital city, the people were known, Tutsis were known, some of them. And you never thought that it was somehow going to be that long. You thought maybe it was for a short period of time. It might not even reach to us. But at the same time, even people trusted the authority. They used to go there to ask for help. You thought maybe by going there you would get some help. And at that time, when it was like really so fast throughout the country, so of course through that radio I mentioned earlier, our TLM radio, which was also a radio used to spread the hatred and against the Tutsi, they immediately started saying Tutsis everywhere must be killed. Whatever, anywhere, they must be killed. So that means they were encouraging Hutus, who are our friends, our neighbors, just to go out there and hunt us, to kill us. And these are the people, and imagine like how it felt like to hear that. And I thought maybe I was dreaming in my head. I was like, oh, I can't believe what I'm hearing. So,
yeah. And
it was automatically, as we had to run and to seek refuge, but we didn't know where to go. Of course, we had to seek refuge in homes and of people who were kind enough to hear us. So that was our beginning for us to just run. And that's it. That's the only thing. We didn't have to carry anything much. You leave your home and you leave everything. So, and because of how they encouraged to kill the Tutsis, they also encouraged to destroy our homes.
Yeah.
Everything, our belongings. They were taking everything we had. And imagine, as a kid, to your home where your parents built and did everything to, and everything changed completely. You have to leave it simply because of who you are. It was still hard even for parents to tell us. Imagine as a parent, you take your children and run with them, but at the same time, you have to comfort them. It's not easy. So,
wow. And you had 3 little brothers and a little sister. So can you tell us, if you feel comfortable enough, sharing us that first week of what, I know you started the book off with, really hard stuff. And then you kind of went back to it later on. Can you share what life was like that first week as a 14-year-old with an 11-year-old sister and 9-year-old brother? 16-month-old little baby brother. I can't even imagine.
No, we were, even though I was the oldest, I was still young because somehow I was sheltered at home with my parents, with the love and, making sure I learn good values to, I would say I was sheltered very much. Even though I was 14, somehow I didn't have I wasn't the kid who was knew how to, to have ways of, if you run, what am I going to do? Have all those thoughts in your heads, because I've never learned those things before. I was a home child. We were home children raised at home. And now I have siblings who are younger than me and also who are probably thinking of me, comforting them too. And my parents, and imagining the youngest one who was 16 months old, he was still a baby. We all really protected him. We wanted to make sure he's okay. Every time all of us at home used to make sure he's well fed, and we really loved him, really caring him. All of us really cared for him. But then now this is a baby who's going to hide and not being home and not being able to sleep on time or drink milk, because we like to have milk a lot, even at home. And now this is a baby who we don't even know what to tell him, and my siblings. So the first time when the first week running was very, very hard for me to think of what was happening, how the world is changing. And then we knock on a door of family, reach to a home, as you read in the book. And so, of course, for those who are going to read, they are going to see the whole journey, what it felt like for us to go there, knocking on a home where people, sort of, were good friends of our family. But then somehow you never knew how people were going to react and how people were going to be kind. You never knew who was allowing themselves to go that route of killing or even hurting us. So, and luckily this family kept us for a short period of time. But I remember the time we left their home, as I, wrote in the book. So it was the moment then I, sleeping in the forest and its bushes and in the night, starting to think, wow, this is now different. So it's going to change. Our lives completely are changing. So, and as a kid who was, always comfortable being in my home, but now when I used to be afraid of being in the dark, outside in the dark in the night, but now I'm in somewhere in the middle of, and I don't even know what would happen to me. So, and we had to comfort each other. So I started gradually to learn how to, it was a slow thing, moment to learn how to, to be strong and learn how to pray gradually. Of course, luckily my mom kept reminding us. I remember, one of the moments when we were in the middle of sorghum plantation, and it was early in the morning when the killers were searching with machetes and clubs, and because that's what they used to do every morning. So to go search Tutsis to kill. So it was those moments when we were sitting there, and I'll never forget, as a kid, my dad was very protective and making sure we are okay. I never forget the image of my father where he was sitting and scared. And even now I can't find words, to describe that moment, to see my father being in that space. And my mom, I don't know what it is, my mom somehow became strong more than anybody else. And she kept telling us to pray, all of us, when we're sitting, and reminding us to pray, keep praying, keep praying. So because as Christian at home, we used to, prayer was important for us. And I'm so grateful that I was taught that. So that really helps a lot. So,
In that moment in the book, when you talk about you guys being there and you seeing that almost like a despair feeling with your dad, and they're saying, come out here, cockroach, like these terrible things, and you guys step out.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, no, like why that's so scary, in that moment. But there were so many moments throughout your 100 days of horribleness that you guys did step out in front of these horrible killers and they let you go.
Yeah.
It was unimaginable for whatever reason. And a lot of the thing that I noticed is that because of what your parents did for the community and who they were, there was always almost somebody who was like, oh, he was my teacher. She was my teacher. She was amazing. She helped me study. It was like you got these God winks in so many instances. And where it didn't seem like that was the case for a lot of people,
Yeah.
but obviously that didn't last forever in regards to your father and your brothers, which was just absolutely, I mean, I cried for sure during those moments. Um, is there anything you feel comfortable enough sharing about that day?
Thank you for actually saying that about those moments. I feel like it was God. It was miracle. God showing up in places where we thought we were going to be dead, we were going to be killed. And another thing I've learned throughout those, like you just mentioned, for me, I believe that even in your story, you learn. you find the lessons even in your story. To me, that's what I
Yes.
believe. When you're, for me, I learned a lot throughout the time we, after the genocide, reflecting on everything, I learned so much through our story of what happened. So, and being kind, it's okay, it's good to be kind. How my parents, treated everybody, and also it was shown even during the hardest times, even during those periods in a hiding, to see somebody, saying that, I'm going to help you because you were kind to me. It shows that we need to be kind, really. I learned that. So we need to be kind, and you never know. You never know how things, the kindness is going to reflect in some ways. So, and, and in those moments, I really learned also that, and one of the things that really hurt me the most is to see how, as a human being, to allow yourself to be cruel to that extent. You also hurt yourself one way or another, because the people who have hurt us, they really never lived a good life. So you never, there's nothing they gained. I mean, hurting a child, killing my brothers, especially for the person who murdered my brothers, there's nothing he gained. I felt sad for him too. So, for
Wow.
him to do that, what would he gain? So it's pain he brought to his family too. So even his whole family is, they are still also hurting by what their son did to our family, because they're very close to our family, as you read in the book. So, and but at this, another thing is, for me, it's important, when I, throughout the journey, the things as you said, if what I can share during that period, is there are so many things that I feel like I allow myself to share, because it was therapy for me. So throughout the journey of writing and sharing everything, and it was tough to share those painful moments, but at the same time, I felt like I was helping myself, and also thinking of another person who have gone through pain in their lives. So, to know that there's a hope. So for me, there are times during the genocide that, as a kid, as a 14-year-old, when you're a girl and being tortured and raped, and which happened to me, and it was not something that I wanted to talk about. So,
Yeah.
and as it was tough for me to even share that experience, but I thought of so many women like myself, who went through those horrible things during the genocide, and moments I was hungry, many times with my mom, and thinking of how my mom carried, all of us in very painful moments, knocking on doors of people who were supposed to be good friends, and 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 to remember the pain in my mother's face, and also what she had to go through to see what we were going through, and it was not easy to think about. So, but I feel like throughout the journey of writing also has helped me to learn and how to be more kinder. Yeah, to learn how
Wow.
to be more kinder, and to be close to God. When you're close to God, you love other people. Yeah. When and yeah.
Can you tell us your brothers' names and your dad's name?
Yeah. My brothers' names were José Philbert. So if I pronounce in my own, French,
French. Yeah.
Boval Pascal, and Abimana Bonfils. We used to call him Abimana Bonfils. Yeah, the little one, the baby
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And my dad was Ngoga André.
Mm.
Yeah. So my
Awesome.
mom, who is alive, who survived with me, Mukamgiza Marie-Jeanne.
Wow.
And
Beautiful.
my sister is Jeanette Ingabile.
Wow.
Yeah. So
So
my
pretty.
parents, thank you very much. My parents were, um, I think they really thought too much about our names when they were naming us. So I am, as you know, when I was younger, I never thought too much about them. But then when I guess now I appreciate it more because I know the meanings of so many of our names. So
Yeah.
what they meant. So the reason, like for me, as you read in the beginning, why they called me Consolee
Hmm.
Nishimwe. So, I don't know if I wrote that in the book. I wasn't supposed to be the firstborn.
Mm,
Yeah,
I
so
did.
I don't know if I remember to write that part of it. It's really a part where my mom shared that with me and never spoke that much before the firstborn passed away after birth. So, and then when I came, I
Didn't
was
know.
like a blessing to them.
Yes, you did write that. Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah.
What one of the things I think that was profound in the book is like what you were saying, how so many people, your neighbors, friends, turned on your family, um, turned their backs on you guys, and it was just, it's an unimaginable thing to happen where how do people have so much hatred in their heart so quickly and then think that it's okay to brutalize. It's not even to murder, but they were looking to torture,
Sure.
to just punish in just terrible, terrible things. During those 100 days, you guys almost didn't make it on multiple occasions. What would you say got you through the worst times? I know that you were, brutally attacked and tortured and raped, and you have a lifelong consequence of that. I'm
Uh-huh.
not sure if you're comfortable
Yeah,
sharing, but
I
that
can share that.
those 100 days changed your life forever. But what got you through it?
Um, it was not easy. It was 100 days. Throughout the 100 days, especially in my area, the genocide was so extreme. Many people were killed every corner. Tutsis were killed every single day. Where I come from, I find families are completely wiped out.
Mm,
To rank to number one in the country, that lost many family that are no longer existing, or even a household that has only one person who
mm,
survived. I have friends who don't even have, they survived alone, just
yeah.
alone. And imagine, it shows you the extreme and the magnitude of how this killing was really bad. And to me, having a mother and a sister, a sibling,
Hmm.
I'm one of the few. So
Yeah.
survivors who, I feel like you know, it's a blessing to have that. But at the same time, what we have gone through was so extreme. Like the pain, the suffering, as you said, surviving was a miracle. Multiple times when I felt like we were going to be killed. And even the things I've gone through, that really that are so going to live with me for the rest of my life. But one of the things that helped us throughout the genocide is prayer,
Hmm.
because being a Christian, and that's what I'm so grateful my mom and my family, they have taught us that. So that really kept me through, and to keep praying no matter what was happening. So I was thinking, if I die, I'm going to heaven. So that's
Hmm.
what I was prepared for the whole
Yeah.
time. So, but at the same time, it was not easy. It was really a lot of going on as I was young. And, imagine a teenager, what was going through my head every day, living in fear every day, afraid of what would happen next. Tomorrow I'm going to be killed. I don't know what tomorrow is going to be like. So, and also hungry. Many times we never ate. So, our body was, losing a lot. So,
Hmm.
and then I couldn't, after I survived, I never thought of my life was going to be normal again. So,
Mm.
and to see me here, I am so grateful. It's a miracle, and I'm so grateful that I'm here, and that's why I also share this story to be able to tell people never lose hope. It could have, but I have some people who didn't even, I speak on behalf of for those who couldn't even leave after surviving the genocide.
Yeah.
Because they lost hope. Not everybody coped the same way. Some people lose their life. They don't even know how to start life again. So,
Yeah. You know, you guys went through absolutely unimaginable terror for 100 days. You know, you're hiding in the ceilings of people's homes just to survive. You are sleeping in plantations. You're hearing people chanting when they murder somebody, a neighbor, a friend, a family member. After your father was murdered, people are celebrating. You know, it's like constant terror, what that does to your body, going hungry, losing your brothers, and your home being destroyed, and truly not, you know, being treated well by even the people who you thought were friends, turning you away. We fast forward 100 days after this, and you guys, I can't even imagine the condition. I heard it, you know, in the book. But how did you guys move on from that? Like, it's not like it didn't seem like there were a ton of systems in place where people are getting therapy and there's all these
yeah.
resources for you. I
Mhm.
know your mom sounds absolutely amazing, and right after that went to some training so she could help people. Oh my gosh, she's
Mhm.
amazing.
Mhm.
And then she was so forgiving to all of these people she met. And I remember in the book, it says that you said to your sister, wow, she must have really learned a lot from that training, because you guys asked her, Mom, how are you going to be able to
Mhm.
like teach these kids? Because she
Mhm.
went back to teaching,
Uh,
and their parents or their relatives killed dad and our brothers. And your mom said, I'm not gonna, what'd she say? I basically, it's not on them. It's not their fault. And she's gonna love them and treat them the same. And I was just like, wow, that is incredible, because I would think there'd be so much bitterness and hatred going around. But your family just seemed like they just exude love and
Thank you.
forgiveness.
Thank you for
And you
saying
are
that.
the same way, which
Thank you. Thank
is
you for saying
amazing. So
that.
how did you guys after that really truly get to that place of just love and forgiveness?
I thank you for saying that. That really means a lot. um, my mom is really my hero, my shiro. So she's the one who, as you were mentioning, you've seen a lot of how I mentioned about her. So, and I feel like I'm here because of her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how my life would have been if she was not the example of how to love, how to be kind,
Yeah.
even despite all the pain we have gone through. So, and she had to be an example to me and my sister and
Mm-hmm.
my cousin, who happened to also, happen to live with us after surviving also. She was close to the same age as me. And she had to raise these teenagers also who have gone through terror and pain and suffering, but at the same time she had to instill them love, how to be loving and caring despite the pain we're carrying, the trauma we're carrying. It was not easy. I don't know. Sometimes I tell her, I don't know how you managed it. So how did
Yeah.
you manage to be able to, if I was in your shoes raising the kids, I don't know how I would have been. So, but I'm so grateful for that because it helped us to learn, even despite all the pain we carry within ourselves, to never be unkind, to never be, even to look people, to be bitter. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
we carry so much pain. We carried a lot of pain, all of us,
Mm-hmm.
and we're affected in many different ways. So, but at the same time, we were reminded that we have to be kind. My dad used to be a kind person. I had to
Mm-hmm.
remind myself that because my father was somebody who really cared about anybody. It didn't matter who the person was.
Yeah.
He will always show love and kindness. My mom, I'm so grateful that despite all the pain, she never changed. She remained the person that I always knew, that a kind person, but I could see the
Mm-hmm.
pain, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
pain within her.
Yeah.
But she showed so much love. Even all the kids she has taught in school, most of them are friends of her. They visit her. They go to see her. They love her
Yeah.
because they know every good thing she's done for them. And that really makes me happy that
Yeah.
even at this moment in her retirement, she gets to be visited by the people she's been kind to. So,
Yeah.
and her love, despite the pain, her love and really became an example to me of the person I wanted to be. And I always pray that I want to be at least half of who she is, and at least, to be kind to everybody around me. So I'm still learning and I'm still, trying the best I could every day in my life, no
Yeah.
matter what I go through, just to show love to whoever I come across. So, and
Oh,
that's one thing that I've learned, and I'm so grateful to my mom. She's the one who should be taking the credit of who I am
uh,
today.
well, you listen, I think you give her a lot of great credit in the book because I can sense her love as well as your dad's. But the thing that I'm like in my head, I think, how can she forgive? There's an imagery in the book where your two little brothers take your youngest brother's hand in the middle and they walk off to be slaughtered.
Yeah.
And I get choked up thinking about that. But your mom being able to forgive something like that, she's amazing. I want to be like her.
Thank you.
I
Thank
want
you
to.
for saying that. Yeah, it was actually the hardest part, one of the also among many hardest part to write about because
Mhm.
the image is still in my mind, to see my brothers walking but one of the things that my mom did before they were taken to be killed, as you read in the book, she took us in a place to pray.
Mm.
We were praying and praying. And later on, my mom shared something with me that one of the things that made her, also feel like she needs to forgive and God spoke to her. Somehow she heard a voice of God speaking to her that my brothers are really in peace and they're with God,
Mhm.
and the person who did that, you know, is in pain
Mhm.
because of what he did. So, and somehow I feel like because of that prayer we did together, that's why really I believe that really that helped my mom to feel, to become strong and be able to forgive and really that helped me also in my situation.
Mhm.
And it was not easy, you know, to write about that, to even
Mhm.
think about it. My brothers were and that was not easy to see them being taken that way. So even the life afterwards was not easy.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, what was the turning point for you when you decided you needed to get help for yourself and maybe somebody who's struggling themselves with maybe a story they've never told anybody or a shame that they have? What would you what did you do? What was that turning point for you and what would you suggest to someone else who's really losing hope in their own situation?
Hmm. As you saw in the book, it took me many years. It took me a long time to get to a point where I needed to, to be vulnerable enough to share those painful moments. But one of the things that really also helped is also therapy, which I believe it's important for people to go to therapy. Really, therapy, you need somebody to talk to. You need someone to help you in your journey of because carrying so much pain, it's a lot. It's a lot, and you never know how they are going to affect you. So even though my mom really helped me a lot, but she was carrying also a lot of pain herself.
Right. Right.
Yes, I don't even know. Whenever I think of her, sometimes pain can turn a parent into a different person
Mhm.
because people are different. But but at the same time, I am so, when I went to therapy, that's when I understood how my mom amazing she is to be able to be strong with her pain and be able to be there for me and my sister and my cousin. And I felt like I needed also to be able to help her too in her healing journey. So
Yeah.
how can I be there for her? So by sharing, allowing together, when I wrote a book, it was me and her together reflecting on everything. I allow her to be in that journey when I was writing everything. So, and somehow, I feel like for me, even though I went to therapy, but I also became a therapist in a way I never knew that I was becoming a therapist. So, and somehow she told me as a parent, sometimes they hide things you never know. She used to have a migraine, a constant migraine. She hid from us. We never knew she had a migraine.
Wow.
And she said, but when we started speaking, me and her reflecting on everything we have gone through, somehow a migraine disappeared. And
Wow. She was holding it all
it
in.
was all, yeah, somehow her migraine was gone, like
Wow.
disappeared. So I felt like, wow, that's amazing. Like how to have somebody to talk to. Don't keep the pain with yourself. Allow someone to be, with you, to be with you in your journey. And for me, that's the reason why I was able to even write so many things, and be able to feel like happy again, to embrace
Yeah.
life again. Throughout the journey of being vulnerable and allow myself to go in those painful places that I've kept for many years, I felt like I was relieved. It was almost like a lot of shoulder was relieved,
Yeah.
relieved to me. And the shame of what I've gone through as a woman, shame of living with HIV as a result of what I've gone through, which is
Yeah.
a constant reminder every day. So and I'd had to find a way to talk about that, and also, and it allowed me to see myself in a different way now. So I see myself. I started to embrace life. I started to not look myself as a person who, have gone through what I've gone through. So I don't feel like I'm defined by what I've gone through. It's my story that I share, but I've been able to, to create good things in my life, great memories,
Yeah.
and great things that I feel like I will love my nieces and nephews to be part of, and also to learn from what I've gone through. And whenever I take my pee every day, which was used to be a constant reminder and a threat to my life, it's no longer that anymore. So I look at it as like a vitamin. It's whenever I take that, it's like my vitamin. So and I thank God every day for my life, and I pray for those who are in a lot of pain within their hearts, who are still holding on their pain. And I want to be able to be someone who can a little bit help someone to love themselves, to have
Yeah.
hope of life, and embrace life again. And they are
Yeah.
not what happened to them. So you are a child of
You,
God.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of my biggest role models is Oprah. I've loved her since I was a little girl. And one of the things that she's always
Me
said is
too.
when you release the pain,
Yeah.
when you release the pain, you release the shame.
Yes.
And it frees you
Yeah.
from all of that. And it sounds like that's what happened with you.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're happy now
You,
in your
you,
life?
you know, I think in life, all of us go through things in life. Life didn't stop; it kept happening.
Yes.
So, but one thing I've learned, no matter whatever happens or anything happens in life, I learned how to never allow it to dictate how I feel within myself. So, and I think that's one of the biggest lesson I've learned, throughout the journey of my history of what happened. So it helps me also how to live in this life, no matter what I go through. Yes, I have moments when I'm sad about some things, but
Yeah.
not even like everybody else. But I learn how to not allow it to, to keep me hostage.
Wow. I'm just blown away by you.
Thank you.
You know, if listeners are carrying their own pain, what kind of encouragement would you have to be able to provide to them in regards to hope?
One of the things that I feel like for anybody who probably going through some painful things in life, I know it's not easy, but you have a life. You're here. You're alive. Never lose hope. I have a mantra that I live with. No matter what horrible circumstances you may face in your life, never lose hope. For losing hope is the beginning of your own self-defeat. So that's one of the mantra that I live with, and I hope that it can help you in your journey.
Well, and I was hoping you would share that because I love that.
Yeah.
And we'll close out, but I wanted if you could speak directly with your dad and brothers today, what would you want them to know about the person that you've become? Because I have no doubt that they're so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's really wow. What would I tell my dad and my siblings? Um, Actually, this is one of the things that I did throughout my years of life. I have letters that I've written to them.
Wow.
Yeah, I like to, yeah. So I haven't done that recently, but
Hmm.
I thought about doing that again. No, I have been, I used to write to them all the time, like what I feel, how I feel, the moments I am in. So I just to feel like I'm having a conversation with them. So
Yeah.
yeah, it actually helped me also throughout my life to be able to feel like I don't know, it just some things that I
Connected.
felt like I needed to do, just to write to them, write my dad, my siblings. So what I would tell them, especially like my dad, I would say that I know my dad will want me to be happy,
Hmm.
and every time I was sad, I thought, I want what would your dad want you to be? Would that you would want you to be a sad girl or a happy girl? My dad
Wow.
was someone who made me happy. So I wanted
Hmm.
to make sure that whenever I live my life, I want to just have joy, like how my dad would want me to be. So I would tell my dad every day I do something that makes me happy so that I can, make you proud that you have, I'm living a life when I'm joyful. I'm enjoying
Yeah.
small things in life. Like him, he was somebody who was very simple person. I like to enjoy small things in life. So I'll tell him that I'm trying every day to be able to make you, to show you that, the joy that I have joy in life, and I enjoy small things in life. So, and to my siblings, but I wish I could have had them, in my adulthood. Sometimes I feel like I think of the things we could have done. Each and every one of them had different personality and the things they could have done. I imagine the things they could have been, who they could
Yes.
have been. So I always, whenever I wrote to them, I say, well, just, I'm going to make sure that every day, um, you know, I'm I'm going to be someone that, who is going to live a life that makes you proud, that I'm able to even appreciate things in life, whatever I'm doing, just thinking of you. So and I carry you with me every day. So when things are getting tough sometimes, or even being pulled down, I remember that you want me to, to be
Yeah.
strong and and
Yeah.
to be healthy, and that's what I'm doing every day. So hopefully
Mm.
I hope you are proud of who I became and what I'm trying to be. So and I want to make sure that you every day is a moment that I appreciate, so, because that's what you want me to be. So
Wow. Well, your life is clearly a testimony to resilience,
yeah.
courage, forgiveness, and love. I am so grateful for you sharing your story, because I know that it's going to help somebody in their dark times, and know that there is light and that they can have a beautiful life no matter what they've been through, and they don't need to carry it
Yeah.
throughout the rest of their life, so I'm so grateful for you, and it was so wonderful meeting you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really a joy and honor to speak to you, and I appreciate you for all you're doing and inspiring people, and your platform, and everyone. Just really, I appreciate you also for listening to our conversation, and we need to spread light and spread love and spread joy. So we need to be there for one another and love one another. It's important. So yeah. For our good health. For our good health.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
I agree completely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Here on From Dark to Light, we believe that resilience isn't about pretending the darkness never happened. It's about learning to rise from it and letting our scars tell a story of strength. If today's episode spoke to you, I hope you'll share it with someone who may need encouragement on their own path. Subscribe on YouTube or anywhere else that you get your podcasts. And as always, thank you for joining me in shining a light on the power of the human spirit. Until next time, I'm Julie Crawford, and this has been From Dark to Light.